Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
The man accused of shooting a local police officer has his day in court.
When bullets are going towards a person, you just don't know where they're going to land. And just thankfully he's still here.
New tonight, emotional reaction from that officer's family as he continues to recover.
And a rise in violent crimes in the capital city. 3 homicides walking distance of each other just in the past month alone.
Things are getting out of hand. I mean, like, why is this being allowed to happen?
The safety concerns we're hearing from the community tonight.
Plus, taking action to protect abortion rights in Connecticut.
It is the policy and the law of the state of Connecticut that abortion in Connecticut is safe, legal, and accessible, period.
The free guidance in the palm of your hands. We're hearing from candidates on both sides of the aisle ahead of the election that's weeks away.
And later, a community has all their ducks in a row. Their meaningful message to raise awareness for a good cause. The Fox 61 News at 6 begins now. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Ben Goldman.
And I'm Jen Bernstein. The suspect in the shooting of a New Haven police officer appeared for the very first time before a New Haven judge today after that shooting last week.
And it was announced that the suspect, Jose Claudio, is now also facing an attempted murder charge for the shooting. Fox 61 New Haven County Bureau reporter Tony Terzi tells us how the officer's family was surprised today.
The suspect in this case, 36-year-old Jose Claudio of New Haven, had his bond and charges increased today because, as the police chief said, there's such good video evidence. Tuesday morning started with a couple of dozen New Haven cops walking from the PD to the courthouse in support of seriously injured officer Chad Curry.
To see the New Haven Police Department, how they came in and they had supported him, and that was really nice.
Jose Claudio, the suspect in the shooting of Officer Curry, was arraigned on charges that now include attempted murder.
It's just the streets are just full of stuff, you know what I mean?
Do you have any idea why he decided he felt it was necessary to shoot the cop?
That's what drugs do, you know? Turns your mind crazy.
Officer Curry thought he was simply checking out a car crash he heard early last Friday morning. That's until the driver of what was a stolen car took off running.
Yo, stop.
I need a 1 for Chad. He's been hit. Lastly, Chapel.
Signal 1 is code for an ambulance request. But before an ambulance could arrive, Officer Curry's former brother-in-law was among the cops who transported him.
Notify the hospital that we're coming in with an officer that's been shot.
You know, people are very proud of the job they do, and I'm very proud of Sergeant DiCrescenzo. He did a great job. He did everything he could to assist Chad, and he's out there every night helping his officers.
The suspect's family says Claudio was high on multiple drugs when he shot Curry.
Thankful my brother's here, and, you know, I would like for that guy, if he can get the help that he needs.
Bond on Claudio increased from $1 million to $1.5 million in this case, and Chief Jacobson credited Claudio's family for helping to find him in Hartford. Here in New Haven, Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.
Tony, thank you. We're following developing news tonight. 2 people are in custody after a homicide on Park Street in Hartford. The 38-year-old victim found unresponsive after police say he was assaulted this morning and later died.
This is the 3rd homicide within a week and in the same area. The 2 other incidents, deadly shootings. Tonight, the community is rattled and calling for change.
Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner joining us live in Hartford with more on what police are saying tonight. DeAndrea.
Well, you guys, the victim, Lopez, he was found in an alley right near this grocery store earlier this morning by people who were passing by. We were able to speak to his family off camera, and they tell me that he just got back from Puerto Rico. The message on the corner of Park Street echoes the cries of the people who live and work in this neighborhood.
Our children are in risk.
3 homicides.
This is terribly upsetting. I mean, that absolutely upsetting.
1 week.
This is not okay.
All near or on Park Street, just minutes away from each other. The latest victim, 38-year-old Antonio Tosada Lopez, who police say was found beaten to death near 700 Park Street on Tuesday morning.
We were able to recover some video that painted a pretty clear picture that this was in fact a homicide that resulted as a result of a assault.
I'm feeling really sad because I'm a grandma, I'm a mother, so I know what the mom or that family is going through now, the pain that they lose a family member.
Tosada Lopez is the 31st homicide victim in the city of Hartford. At this point last year, there were 29 homicides. Last year in all, there were 34 homicides.
Things are getting out of hand. I mean, like, why is this being allowed to happen?
To the mayor and to the governor, we need help.
And his family also tells me that he was the comedian of the family. He always had a smile on his face, and he will truly be missed. For now in Hartford, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61 News.
Tough story, DeAndrea. Thank you. Well, homicides involving guns are on the rise across the country. According to a new report from the CDC, there was an 8% increase from 2020 to 2021. The percentage of homicides attributed to firearm injuries rose from 79% in 2020 to 81% the following year, the highest percentage in more than 50 years. We're also following developing news out of Bridgeport tonight as well. We've just learned that the suspect charged in the death of a 12-year-old boy has pleaded guilty in court.
Yeah, that shooting happened days before Christmas back in 2019, if you remember. 12-year-old Clinton Howell was on his front porch when police say he was shot and killed. Police say he was not the intended target of that shooting. The suspect, Tajay Chambers, was charged with manslaughter and possession of a pistol without a permit. His attorney tells Fox 61 he has pleaded guilty to all of those charges. He will be sentenced in December, just days after what will be the 4th anniversary of that deadly shooting. All right, turning to the weather right now, we can take a live look across the state at Hartford, New Haven, Mohegan Sun, and Middletown. Another sunny day and another beautiful sunset as we close out the day here.
I know, we just mentioned yesterday, this is our second day doing this new 6 p.m. show. We're not used to seeing sunsets across Connecticut.
No, and they are stunning this time of year.
I think it's an upgrade.
And guys, the temperatures we have right now will probably be the warmest we have during this 6 o'clock newscast for a while. It's still pretty warm out there. And a night like this one is certainly going to become less common going forward. It's still 65 in Hartford, 66 in New Haven, 61 in Chester. So after you have dinner, maybe not a bad idea to step out and go for a walk to work off some of those calories, right? It's still a nice evening, nice comfortable night. Temperatures will be in the 50s over the next several hours, and by morning we'll dip down into the upper 40s in most spots. Another great looking day tomorrow. Sunshine to start, and then some clouds that will come in during the afternoon. But it actually may be a degree or two warmer tomorrow afternoon with temperatures that get into the low 70s. Already eyeing our next storm system with two pieces, one going through the Midwest and then this front up in the Dakotas. That is on the way for late Thursday, Thursday night, and early Friday. We'll start to see some of the clouds from it coming in tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we'll have a lot of clouds with a few showers around. But it's really overnight Thursday night that this band of heavy rain, showers, downpours, and storms will come through. We'll time it out and talk about how much may fall coming up in just a little bit.
Okay, Ryan, thank you very much. Well, New Haven police are investigating after a 29-year-old was stabbed and killed last night. Officials saying it happened around 9:30 on Whaley Avenue between Whittlesey and Osborne Avenue. The victim was taken to Yale New Haven Hospital, where he later died from his injuries. Right now, no word on any suspects or arrests.
One person is dead after a car crash in New London early this morning. Police responded to Nautilus Drive around 8:30 for a crash where the driver was unresponsive. That driver was taken to the hospital and later was pronounced dead. Police identifying the victim as 64-year-old Marlene Slowensky. Police are still investigating what led up to that accident. Moving on here, the verdict. Watch phase of Alex Jones' defamation trial continues. The jury's still deciding how much money to award 8 Sandy Hook families and 1 FBI agent who filed suit related to Jones's lies about the shooting being a hoax and that the families were actors.
Fox 61's Matt Caron has been covering this case from the very start, and he joins us live in Waterbury to give us some insight into the jury's mindset. Still no verdict today, Matt.
Yeah, no verdict today, and things seem to be going slowly. Here's what I can tell you guys. This is a very detailed and conscientious jury. So far, they've broken off their deliberations 4 separate times to come back and ask the court a question. That is exactly the procedure that they are supposed to follow when they need clarification, and really it shows that they are taking their task very seriously. Day 16 in the Alex Jones trial. The jury broke off deliberations to ask the court a question.
Can you please clarify the meaning of this? Signed and dated by your foreperson.
They wanted the court to clarify the meaning of this one line in their mission statement, a line addressing compensatory damages.
It is archaic introductory language that probably is better suited for a personal injury case where there's like a physical injury.
The language dates back to the U.S. Supreme Court of 1875. Before making a decision what to tell the jury, the judge heard input from both the plaintiff's attorneys.
That language is archaic and taken in isolation. It can be confusing.
And the defense.
I think it's inappropriate to comment on the charge in such a way as to diminish any portion of it.
The judge ultimately made the decision to tell the jury this.
I can answer your question as follows. Focusing on 1 or 2 sentences in isolation when considering a jury charge can often be unhelpful or confusing. Therefore, you should not single out particular words, phrases, or sentences, and you should consider the charge as a whole. If you find it helpful, I can tell you that my review of the charge shows both general and specific discussions of damages throughout the charge. If you have any additional questions on this issue, or any other issue for that matter, please follow the same procedure.
So you may be asking yourself, well, why is it taking so long? The jury just needs to come up with a dollar amount, but it's actually a lot more complicated than that. They need to come up with separate dollar amounts for each of the 15 plaintiffs in this case. They also need to determine if they're just going to award punitive damages, which is essentially a very small amount that would only cover attorney fees, or what's called compensatory damages for emotional distress, for which there is no cap. Now, at the end of the day, before the jury was dismissed, they came back in front of the court one final time to ask another question. They want to review the testimony of William Sherlock. His wife, Mary, was the school psychologist who was killed at Sandy Hook. It's about 1 hour and 8 minutes long. The judge says that they will have that tape queued up first thing tomorrow morning. We're live here outside Waterbury Superior Court. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
Matt, a lot to consider. We will be watching tomorrow. Thank you. Well, new tonight, a Woodstock man is facing child pornography charges. Anthony Morelli turned himself in last week after a more than year-long investigation. Police say Morelli downloaded the videos over the course of several months from a computer file sharing network. He's now facing multiple charges.
Well, East Hampton police arrested a 12-year-old boy who they say recorded himself holding up what appeared to be a Glock pistol and made threats to another youth. The firearm turned out to be a BB gun, which was an exact replica of a Glock Model 19, according to police. He then sent that video to another youth, leading to his arrest.